In this week's View from the Top, I spoke with Pierre Benoit, the Chief Executive Officer of Bombardier, the Canadian company that is the third largest civil aircraft manufacturer in the world. We spoke about the C-Series and the prospects for other countries to get involved in the civil aviation market. But first, I asked him about the company's prospects in 2012.
I'm quite positive about 2012. Business is good, with some concerns, of course, depending where in the world, but if you look as a global company, there's a lot of opportunities for us.
Turning quickly to the United States, there's been a lot of talk of a manufacturing revival here, but there are perhaps some concerns that might come at the expense of Canada, where labour costs have been going up. What's your take on that? Is Canada becoming an expensive place to do business?
Well, we're a global manufacturer, and I think today when you're a global manufacturer, you can't think of manufacturing just in one country. So in Canada, what we do is we design our product, we assemble products, but we have partners from all over the world. And if we talk to our employees in Canada, they would recognize that's a good thing. That's what keeps us competitive.
Right. And when you think about siting new plants, are you thinking about Canada? Are you thinking about the US? Is it Mexico? Other parts of the world? What's the equation at the moment for you?
Where do you see the new train plants? You would see them in China. You would see them in India. Now you would still have a contribution from our Canadian plant or European plants, but in the end, you try to have at least the assembly of the product really close to the customer, and growth is in Asia right now.
And I think you have very ambitious plans for growth in BRIC countries, $3 or $4 billion in revenues by 2016. How likely is that when we've seen slowing in the Chinese economy and elsewhere?
I tend to focus, when I look at growth potential, at our industry. And what emerging economies are doing, or a country where there's large growth, they need to invest in infrastructure. That's what keeps the economy going. And a lot of these countries need more infrastructure, whether it's airports or more rail. So for Bombardier, that's a great opportunity.
Turning quickly to aerospace, the topic that's very much in the news is the C-Series. A lot of talk from your competitors about the Neo and the Max killing off the business case for the C-Series aircraft. Is that the case? And how do you approach these two new aircraft types?
First of all, they've re-engined an old plane, an airplane that was already not effective in the 100 to 150 passenger. So I think the Neo or the Max is giving them a very competitive product in 160 passenger plus, simply by the fact that when you re-engine and you're the only two manufacturer, well, you're going to deliver better seat costs, and there's no all-new airplanes. But when you compare our airplane, which is all new, to re-engine products, we still have a 12% advantage in terms of fuel burn. In an industry where airline margins are very tight, I don't see how airlines can pass up and let go 12% advantage.
The Bombardier C-Series is often seen as the tip of the spear of these new countries developing commercial aircraft. How real is that trend?
Well, these countries are developing new airplanes. You see some new projects, in China, for example. But to build a mainliner like we're doing in the C-Series, it takes a lot of experience. We've been doing this for 25 years. We've developed 28 new airplanes. It's very hard, if it's your first airplane, to develop a game changer.
Right. And you signed in March of 2011, I believe, a strategic agreement with COMAC, the Chinese aircraft manufacturer. What does that agreement entail, and how do you see that developing?
Yeah, it was a framework agreement, so there's different things we're looking at with COMAC. I think the Chinese are building a bigger airplane with the C919, and I think there can be some collaboration with the C-Series, whether it's after sales, whether it's common procurement in some areas, and maybe even some commonalities. So these are the type of discussions we're having with COMAC, and we hope to bring those into a firm agreement shortly.
A couple of quick questions about the train side of the business. Is high-speed rail in the US dead?
I don't think so. I think the government has got some key projects in the US. We think at first the focus should be on investing in infrastructure. And then we will see, I think, projects of high-speed rail. There's a few corridors where it makes a lot of sense, but as a general rule, I think that the US, you can put people back in trains in the US if you improve the overall operation, not only the equipment.
A quick question about your plants in the UK. Does the Derby plant have a long-term future?
Well, first of all, you said our plant in the UK. We have a very big aerospace plant in Belfast. with more than 5,000 employees. We're investing over 500 million pounds in that plant, so we're big expansion there. Now, if I get to Derby, obviously this plant has a future, but to create a great future for this plant, we need contracts. And this, just shortly, we've got some additional contract, which gives us a great opportunity. We want to be successful with our Derby plant. Now, in the end, train business is a contract business. It also depends how much we can repeat the success we just had recently.
Will it still be there in 5-10 years' time?
Well, it will depend on the opportunities that we have in the UK, but we don't only use this plant for the UK, we also export. We have a great project in South Africa where those trains came and were designed in the UK, and we want to continue to do that. So not only do we use it as a platform for the UK, but I think it's a great opportunity to continue to have train technology in the UK using our plant in Derby.
Should you get preferential treatment from government contracts in the UK in order to help sustain that?
I think we need to be competitive. That's the first thing, and I think we've demonstrated that we're competitive. At the same time, being a local manufacturer, I think should be an advantage.
Pierre, thank you very much. Now we're going to play a game called Long Short. Are you ready?
Yes.
Great. Sunshine for the UK London Olympics.
Long.
Jeremy Lin and the New York Knicks.
Long.
The Euro.
That's a tough one. I'd say short.
Greece.
Short.
Barack Obama.
Long.
Mitt Romney.
Long.
Taxes on the rich.
That's a difficult one. I'd say it depends which side you want. You want more tax or less tax?
More taxes on the rich.
In the U.S.
In the US.
Long.
US infrastructure.
Long.
The 787.
Long. Great airplane.
UK manufacturing.
Long.
The iPad.
Definitely long.
And finally, a member of the Baudin family running Bombardier in 10 years' time.
Long.
Great. Pierre, thanks so much.
Nice to be here.